Just a banana staring into a screen. I'm honestly not sure if this is live or not live. So this is obviously my first time, so please bear with me. So, it seems that I'm live, but I'm not 100% sure. Right. I think that I am live. This, of course, is my first time streaming, so please be patient with me until I figure this first step out. Alright. Now I'm trying to find all the information that I'm supposed to be seeing. And I'm honestly not sure where to see it. In any event, all fun and games. Very excited to look back at this as the future self and realize that I was live. So technically, with me being a banana, my future self will probably be a lot browner than I am now, or I'll be a banana tree. Pretty confident. Right. Okay, so definitely figured out the fact that I am live. So taking that into consideration, I think I need to start talking about the fact and the information I would like to share on this channel and the whole idea around it. This is obviously very new to me, as you can imagine. This is very outside of my norm, and I can't wait to look back at this and laugh at myself, hopefully. Alright, so let me give you guys a little bit of a recap of what the idea of this channel is. So you always want to have someone to talk to, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that you get home, feel like you had a long day at work, or you had some sort of achievement and everything else and you want to share. And not everyone has that supporting member that they can deal with. So as this is the first live session that I'm doing, the whole idea is actually more driven about it being a little bit more integrated with the people viewing. So the idea is more of trying to understand what people went through the day, have a long day, sitting at work. Did you have a great day? You may be on holiday, touring the world, saw Europe, saw America, or any other place that you thought you might go to. You felt like it's worth sharing. So, since I'm expecting that 0 people will be viewing this at the current state, the idea is more that there is a bigger integration of more people sharing their thoughts, sharing their day, so that everyone can enjoy it, right? If it's good, bad, everyone needs to have that one person that they can talk to, they might not. And I stand corrected, because there is one person viewing this. So, epic fail, I'll sort that out in the next chat. I'm still obviously figuring out how this whole live broadcast works. And a little bit of history. I've never done a live forecast ever in my life. I'm not a big talk to an audience type of person, so this is very outside of my comfort zone, and I can appreciate the fact that it might be picked up as such. In any event, we're all here for new experiences and everything else in life. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to even create a pretty decent blooper short about this and this whole interaction. So, going back to the fact that you're staring at a banana, I'm not a real banana, if you did not pick that up. But the whole thing is, I started this whole journey with the fact of trying to understand what a YouTube channel is and trying to provide content that helps people, even with its, even pertaining to relationships, work environment, just life in general. And I was trying to figure out what is the best content to put out there, and the motivation behind it is to help people. And the realization that I got to was the fact that if you really want to help people, it's very important to actually listen what people are looking for. It's very against my personality and my whole way of doing things, of trying to bait people into creating this massive YouTube channel and bait clicking and thumbnails and all these awkward illustrations that people just try and push onto, I want to say, the world, and intoxicating their whole mind frame of what reality is. And this is where I decided that tonight will be the first time that I go live, with the idea that I have to create this whole environment of people that can communicate over a broad platform. It's not tied to any demographical position. I mean, you can be waking up now in the morning and just feel like crap, or you can wake up and feel blessed, and you can wake up and feel tired, or you're sick, or any of that sort. And the idea of this whole situation is to build up a big of an audience that you can share that. And with sharing that with people around you and the world, I think people can appreciate the fact that they're basically just going through the same thing, right? I mean, the whole thing is, if you can relate to someone in the same position, or even finding out how they troubleshooted it, or maybe I, the banana, has gone through it myself, and maybe I can share some advice or opinion on the matter. But the conclusion of the fact is that it's always better to have a listening ear. no matter who it is, just communicating that, even if you stand outside and talk to a tree or a rock or a wall, but the fact that you're communicating it, not that I'm saying that you guys should go and stand around and look at trees and talk to them, but it just gives you the idea that the communication and the relief of actually communicating with people or getting on the same premise of what's it supposed to be and working with people going through the same thing. So it's not a niche of I'm sad and that's all what life is about. Work sucks, my boss sucks, I'm tired, I'm struggling to get ahead and everything else. And those are true issues in the world, but I think it's also positive to understand where other people are and where other people are. You might and going. You see people suffering and you'll see people being very happy, right? And those experiences that you get with sharing and understanding that this person is going through that and that person is going through this, it opens a mind frame of itself. So it's very interesting, and as you can probably hear from my voice, it's very awkward for me to stare at a screen and talk into a camera, and knowing that currently having an audience of 1, sorry, let me fix that approach, is out of the norm for me. So with that said, I'm just trying to basically give a illustration, go through my own personal growth of being in this awkward position. I might be good at advice, but I'm really awkward sitting in front of a camera or a screen and just talking to it. So always very interesting, and I'm hoping to really build an audience. That's the whole idea, is using a live stream. You guys will see that I've got a bunch of videos on my channel and everything else going through the stream of creating content that people might like and also be beneficial, and then also testing what algorithms do, and I just figured the fact that falling into that trap of not knowing or trying to force this whole, I want a channel, I want this many subscribers, I want to do this, I just wanted to get out of that. And so you guys, personally, I feel very proud of the videos that I have. The first 7, the first 7 probably sucks because it was basically AI generated, because again, I had 0 video editing skills. And going from 0 video editing skills, I decided, how do you keep attention on screen? How can you make it enriching? And I decided, well, again, I don't want to be in front of an audience. I do want to keep this as a faceless channel. And it's difficult keeping a faceless channel with retaining and having people to really appreciate your whole movement and expression and everything else that you're doing. So I thought it's appropriate to get a banana as an avatar. I'm open for comments. Should anyone pick something else? But I mean, I truly enjoy the fact that this banana has a cowboy hat on it, and so that was the whole movement, and this is where we are now. So I knew that going live for the first time, that there will be 0 or no one that would be viewing this feed and have the whole idea, having an interactive experience with sharing and seeing what everyone else is. But if you're keen on it and you feel that it's appropriate and it's someplace that you'll be happy to share your views of your day, week, life, with everyone else, then yeah, please feel free to do that in the future. So all I'm trying to do here is move a file from one portion of my computer to another portion of my computer, and with dealing with two screens and not being too comfortable with everything going on around me, because I'm seeing a lot of green bars, red bars, sound, video, which is very new and awkward to me. But in any event, that is what it is. So again, taking into consideration that there is one person viewing it, first of all, thank you for the person viewing it. I hope that this is not wasting your time. But I do want to illustrate the fact that that I will be getting into a little bit more of a structured discussion shortly. So I did prep for this to some extent, but then again my nerves will get the better of me. And so let's start with the first thing. I am not a real banana, but I might as well be, because currently I feel like a real banana. The purpose of my channel we went over. The idea is to give a safe haven or a shared feeling for random people around the world, the normal people like you and me, to just have a place to have a chat, right? Or not even have a chat, just have some communication of what's going on in your life, or what's bothering you in life, or what's positive in your life, or where are you going in life? What do you want to do? So that obviously is my dogs. So not my dogs, my baby bananas. And either way, so what I do want to say is that I think this is something that can truly inspire and just have people open up and appreciate what communication really can do for you. So so talking about bananas and everything else, I mean, a banana is a pretty ridiculous thing to run around, but funny enough is you'll note the name of my channel is Random Facts, and the whole reason with starting off a channel with Random Facts was trying to achieve a broad spectrum of what videos I really want to create, and if it's resulted into relationships, if it's resulted into how much it saves you to not keep the faucet on when you brush your teeth, and a lot of times that you have toxic friends, or you've had a best friend for all your life, but are they really still your best friends, right? Not that I've personally gone through that. I think I'm blessed with really great friends and honestly no issues in that sector, but trying to put a face to it, for trying to put a conversation to it, it was the idea of creating an avatar which is a little bit more personal, I would say, than just trying to doodle everything. But yeah, so first of all, looking at the screen, you'll note that there'll be repeated text the whole time. So this is my newfound skill, where I've basically started creating videos on, I forgot this app's name, I think it's Studio. Yes, Studio 3. And yep, really had fun with it. So I know it can probably get boring, but I knew that this, running my first live video, first of all, no one's going to know what the hell I'm talking about or what I'm doing. That, yeah, it sums up the whole perspective of it. So if you do hear that tick, 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 tick in the background of it, then it might get irritating after a while. Apologies for the first one. I'm pretty confident that it will get better. I'm pretty well committed to this whole venture. So my idea is to at least, if not more, at least go live 3 times a week. And I want to try and keep the schedule the same time, which is 7:30 at night, Eastern time. If you're in Australia, well, again, that might be a breakfast chat that you can listen to. So all fun and games on that aspect of it. But yeah, it sums up basically the whole idea of the channel and the commitment to it. We'll see how committed I am, but I'm pretty confident that in 1 year from now, at least me as a banana tree can laugh at it. And or let me know if you guys enjoy the banana. Maybe you want to see a pickle. There are some options about it, but in any event, talking about bananas, it's funny. I'm going through this whole situation and reading about random facts, and I decided, well, let me make a choice about what my avatar should be. I don't want to bore people. I don't want to have a raccoon dancing around, and I decided let me ask the web, as we all know it is Google, what is the fruit or vegetable that people relate to the most? And this is before I chose my whole banana theme. Yes, I did add the earphones. I'll probably make it a little bit better. I mean, to be honest, if I stare at my own screen, I can probably make this bigger. Yes, I can. I'm a banana. That is weird. I should probably not do that on a live stream. But anyway, so Googling this whole thing, it's very interesting to understand like how much people actually relate to a banana. It's actually one of the most popular fruits around the world that people eat, and a lot of people can relate to because no one hates them. Well, limited people hates them. So if you feel hated, again, tune in on the next one and please tell me about it. I'm very, very excited to hear about everyone's fun, bad, good, exciting, dramatic experiences. And and ironically, while I was searching this whole thing, a joke came across and it said, "What did the banana say to the monkey?" And then nothing. Bananas don't talk, which I thought is pretty ironic because, again, I'm busy basing a live stream with me as a banana talking to people. Well, currently one person, and don't think that I don't appreciate this one person. I really do. So that I thought is a pretty interesting fact about it. So running through the facts of bananas, not that it's the most glorious subject in the world, is it's universally loved. Bananas are widely consumed across the globe and are generally liked by people of all ages. So if you're 15 or 60, not that I'm saying that you're old when you're 60, pretty confident you have some years to go, but it's liked by all ages. And then the convenience of it. So the fact that people can just throw it into a bag, right, and get to the spot where they need to be and then just peel it. So you save the environment because you don't need to put it in a piece of plastic. And on top of that, it's just easy to open. I saw a video today about a guy trying to cut passion fruit. And you shockingly need a very sharp knife to cut a passion fruit. And then it goes back to the affordability. So talking about affordability in today's day and age, I know that COVID has a bit of a screw to it, but yeah, bananas are relatively inexpensive and available in most grocery stores year round. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the fact of what happened to avos. So avos meaning avocados. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Avocados, but avocados are like 300% more expensive than they used to be. which is ridiculous. And yeah, so from a nutritional benefits, so bananas are rich in potassium, fiber, and vitamins, making them a healthy and a popular choice, which is true. So if you go running and you know that time that you went to the gym and you feel like you can't wake up or walk around and you just want to give up on life, maybe eat a banana. Not me though. Let me not promote the fact of eating bananas or that perfect, but in any event. So the potassium, obviously, from previous experience, and again, this might not be a fact, but potassium obviously helps a lot for muscle recovery and everything else. And then obviously they talk about versatility. So basically on the versatility front, they can be eaten on their own. You can add it to a smoothie. You can bake it into a bread. That's a pretty, that's a pretty bad subject for a banana. Talking about it, just thinking of getting crushed, mold, and then stuck into an oven. In any event, I'm not really a banana. And then of course is making them healthy and nope, that's not it. Or use as a natural sweetener in recipes. So when you're chugging that next protein shake or that next lean weight and it tastes a bit bitter, maybe chuck a banana in it. So I think I need to get off the banana subject since I'm not really a fan of people smashing and throwing bananas in the oven to make bread. But that is some interesting facts about bananas and how people see it. So there's a lot of things that you can start talking about from just life experience, relationships. You basically can you can summarize a lot. There's a big spectrum of what relationships are and what relationships can do to you, what can do to your family. There's even work relationships. You can be stuck with a toxic boss that just calls you 24/7, that doesn't appreciate the fact that you've got a life outside of work. And it's great to understand that there's people out there that has the same experiences that you are, and maybe talking to them or having a platform like what I'm planning on creating is beneficial to everyone involved. So there's a broad spectrum of that when it comes to if you start thinking about what the work environment does to you, what the work environment does to your family, what stress it adds to you. As soon as you get to the stress portion of it, what does that do to you from a health perspective? There's so many subjects to touch on. Just the fact of life sucks, life's awesome, and this is a channel that you can be listened to, right? And so very excited for the audience I might have in the far future, and to discuss topics like that. From my whole inception of starting a YouTube channel, trying to build videos and everything else, we started touching on subjects of how to avoid basically awkward silence, right? People don't really appreciate the fact that you might have awkward silence in any conversation, and no matter who you are, you can't tell me that you've never had that, because you always get that one conversation where everyone just stares at each other or their feet, or one's looking at the sky, and that one person decides, oh, this is the weather. What do you think it's going to do? So if you've ever been in that situation, feel free to go and watch my video. I'm not saying that it's the perfect video in the world, but the content is pretty good. But just to summarize, in the aspect of it is, it's crazy just being very present in the conversation on how your brain reacts differently. So if you're in a conversation, you're thinking about what am I doing tomorrow night, or what am I cooking? Oh, did I forget the stove on? Right? You're not present. You're not focused in the conversation. So anything that happens in the conversation, your brain automatically just shuts down from a priority perspective. So it's very important to be present, because as soon as you're present, right, you need to start, your brain automatically starts focusing. A good example of that is when you're talking to someone and they're saying that, oh, wow, yeah, because it was so cold that winter, right? Instead of you saying that, oh, that's great, well, your brain will automatically start thinking about the fact that, okay, but where are you from? Where was this winter? What's happening with the winter? And like, how could it be that cold? And just for that, I'm from, what's a good example of, well, I can't say Antarctica, but that would be a very, very interesting factor. But in any way, that again opens up 1,000 questions of, oh wow, how did you end up in Antarctica, or how did you end up in Aspen, or oh, there's an easy one. Should have thought of that. I'm from Canada. Great. Where in Canada? How's the city? How's the traffic? How's life? Is there a good work-life balance in Canada? How's the food? Is it expensive? Is it good? So as soon as you're more present with the whole conversation, your brain automatically functions different, and you truly start showing interest to the person, right? And just from a personal sense of view, is that when I'm talking to someone, I would appreciate them being present in the whole conversation. So that was a very fun subject for me to go over. I'm trying to think of other subjects that was worth mentioning. Well, sorry, just taking a sip of water. So again, going back into relationships and motivation, and I did a whole video about why people might hate you, right? A lot of people are so isolated in their own view of things that they won't consider other people in some aspects. But then there's a flip side to the coin. It might not always just be you, right? It might be the other person. So, for example, I mean, if you're one of those people that always need to one up someone, right? Or you always need to be center of attention, or you just basically outright refuse to ever be wrong, right? There's different situations, but I mean, in general sense, I wouldn't say hate is a very strong word, that will force people to basically push themselves away from you. And a lot of people being stuck in the circles that they've got shallow friends, which won't tell them honestly, like, listen, just hold back a little bit. Just take other people into consideration a little bit more. You get people that are forced into those directions. You get people that don't realize the fact that that is how they are. And unfortunately, they don't have good enough friends to honestly tell them, like, that is not the correct way of doing it. Or in our view, at least, that is not the correct way of doing it. Right? But then you get different situations where you won't be in the wrong, right? It might be the exact opposite, where you're experiencing those same principles from a friend, which you consider as a good friend, but they just basically don't give a crap about you. And it's important to identify those things, because you're basically fueling your own emotions with negativity, because you're always on the back foot trying to please your friend or make them feel better, or think that you might be the person in the wrong, which is not the situation always. So that was a very interesting topic that we touched on. And again, one of my first, let's call it my first 30 videos and everything else, before I got to this epiphany of what I want to do with this whole channel and how it can help people just by sharing. That all boiled down to the fact that it's communication. I don't think people recognize what is the true potential and the true meaning of communication. It's a very very interesting subject. Um, and then again, you get common relationship mistakes, and how to fix them. Right? It's a very relatable topic. It's good discussing the different pitfalls, practical solutions, right? And if you have a wider audience, right, you get input from both sides. You might not think that you're passive aggressive. Someone else might have gone through an experience and highlight the fact that you're passive aggressive, and you not knowing it just can't better yourself. And let's talk about self confidence. I've got a big one on that for this whole live feed. I've never ever done a live feed, right? And I've got a semi decent, as a banana, of course, I've got a semi decent self confidence in myself, right? And I do have a push to improve my life, but also to improve others, right? So self confidence is a key to a personal development, to your success, right? And also healthy relationships. Many people seek advice on building confidence and self esteem, right? And what better do you have when you have an open audience that can share their own opinions, that can share their own experiences, can share their own pitfalls. So that is one of the attractions to it, right? Trying to offer actionable tips, or exercises that viewers can apply immediately, encouraging them to ask questions and engage with other people on a live platform, right? And also not being culture bound, because since YouTube is an international platform, right, you're not only bound by the cultures that you grew up in a state or a specific country or wherever you are in the world, right? We've obviously moved abroad a lot of times in our life, right? And every position that we've been in, right, it's always been enriching to experience other cultures. And you never get that sense of my culture is right, and that's the only sense of it, right? You always take the good out of the different situations, right, and recognize the bad. So that is always a very very interesting subject. Um, excuse me, just take a sip of water here. Um, a lot of people try and figure out, um, am I in a healthy relationship, right? What to look for, right? It's normal to be unsure for some. I'm blessed with the perfect partner in the world. I'll be happy until the day that I die. But you do get people that are not in the same situation, right? And also taking into consideration that they grew up in a different environment than you might have, and might not have the benefit of a leading example of what a successful relationship is, right, or what it should be. So that's what I love about this whole situation, is that it can bring the world together, and that people can talk about that. People that don't have the same type of experience or um, what do you call it? Um, yes, experience that everyone else had. Um, Sorry, I just noticed that my feed was giving me the wheel of death where it was buffering. So I'm not sure if, well, again, I don't know what happened there. I hope that I still have the one audience, and thank you, audience member. Um, but in any event, people just trying to figure out, am I really in a, it might sound like a stupid question, like, am I in a healthy relationship? Someone will tell you, idiot, I mean, are you happy or no, right? But some people don't know if they're happy or not, or they're supposed to be. So, with this shared community, right, there might be some diamonds in the rough of what experience and what it should be. So people are often unsure about the health of their relationship, right? Educating different viewers, right, and everyone else, right, on signs of what a healthy partnership is, right, is obviously value for everyone. So that is very appealing in my side. And then you get to the topics of dealing with stress and anxiety. I mean, personally, as a banana, I really was. I've gone through my own stress and anxiety, right? And sometimes you just look for those different practical tips and solutions. Um, so it stays a very interesting subject on the fact of what stress is, what it does to your health, and what are practical tips of everyday life, right? Um, Stress and anxiety are a major issue that face people today, especially with pressures of work, relationships, and life in general. I mean, if you just go and look at it on a simple basis, um, I mean, I can literally Google, as everyone would, right? Um, Dealing with stress and anxiety, practical tips. And there's 1,001 that can pop up. But the good thing about it is you can isolate with a chat like this everything that the rest of the world are truly dealing with. You're not getting 20 generic answers. You might get a good isolation of 3 or 4 and a lot of information and detail in it. I am very bad at multitasking, but let me try and deal with this. So if I type in dealing with stress and anxiety, I can't see my banana face anymore. So I'm very curious to understand how that pitches off, but in any event, I will definitely see that when I watch my own video. So, practical tips dealing with stress and anxiety. Give me 20 tips. See what that brings to light. Okay, so then they state the obvious. So, 20 tips for dealing with stress and anxiety. Practice deep breathing. Slow, deep breaths help activate the body's relaxation response, reducing stress and calming anxiety. So, again, this is not a channel where I just want to repeat what Google spits out to me. But, I mean, there is value to what they are talking about, all the tips that they might give to you on a summary basis. But if you have people sharing their personal experience and how it benefited them or helped them or changed it and everything else, it's priceless. So practicing deep breathing. Personally, I know that if I had an audience, it would be great to understand what other people's experience was, but practice deep breathing. I know from personal experience that I myself, before I want to lose it, that I have practiced deep breathing. And that stopped me from saying stuff that I didn't want to say. It's always like your mom said, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Those principles apply not only in your personal life, but also sometimes in your professional life. They've got further tips of exercise regularly. There'll be oodles of people that can explain to you how exercise just changed their whole world, because it has a whole biological effect on your body of what that does, the way that you do things on a day and how you think about it and everything else. And then they talk about the simplest thing ever. People don't realize it. Is get adequate sleep, eat a balanced diet, limit caffeine and alcohol, stay organized, practice mindful or meditation. So it's great reading this, but having that mentor or that person that can share their own personal experience with how they experienced it and what helped them to get over it, that makes a big difference. So I want to talk about set realistic goals, take breaks, engage in hobbies, use positive self-talk, practice gratitude. Currently, it feels like I'm using positive self-talk because I know that I'm talking to myself. No, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to one other person. Again, apologize for that. Just know that I've got a limited screen to understand how many people are actually watching, but I am still running strong with one. And that is the whole premise of what we're trying to do here. So if you start looking at how to communicate effectively in a relationship. So again, as I previously mentioned, I'm blessed with a fantastic partner, and we've gone through our ups and downs, not worth sharing on a public fashion. But I mean, it honestly boils down to the fact of what your communication is, right? And what the foundation of a successful relationship is, right? To get to that point where you're in the position that I am in, that I know that I can find comfort no matter what I do or where I am or where we're going. So trying to evoke or give that same feeling to someone else is priceless. And I mean, it can literally change lives just from the fact that people understand that wasn't benefit enough to be in a position of experiencing or having that example to live by, right? Might find that from someone else, right? And then there is so many subjects just to touch on, and it can be fun things as well. It can be accomplishments, right? Might sound self-centered, doesn't feel to me though, but I mean, for me, this first live feed is an accomplishment because it's very outside of my norm, and it's not something that that I'm used to or that I feel comfortable with. So I'm seeing here a warning sign, which again I'm not familiar with. This stream current bit rate. Oh, okay. All right. Well, sorry, YouTube. Currently, I cannot do anything about my internet connection. But in any event, I hope this feed comes out properly, so that everyone can see what it is. We'll see what other videos I've done. I mean, I've done a few shorts, just to touch on it. I mean, I did a short where, again, you guys will experience it, and please feel free to comment, but please don't be too brutal, as it was one of my firsts. But I mean, I had good friends, Jax, right? It's important to understand what good friends are, and being able to joke about it as well. There was a bit of a couples question game, and that's something that I started because I think it's intriguing, and it's important for couples to communicate, right, and have fun, right. I mean, once a week or twice a week, sit outside when the kids are in bed, if you do have kids, or when everyone gets off work or you finish eating and everything else, enjoy a beer on the porch, or enjoy a glass of wine and just talk to your better half. I mean, communication is the basically fundamental aspect. And again, please comment, because since I should stop saying I don't have an audience. With having one audience and you watch this afterwards, please comment on what your opinion is of what is in your opinion the most important aspect of a successful relationship. Is it communication? Is it commitment? Is it love? Is it What's another good example? Is it anything that you feel that really ties your relationship with your person, right? If it's a friend, if it's a colleague, if it's work related, if it's marriage, if it's a girlfriend, or whatever it is, right? It'll be interesting to understand what other people's opinions are. So, running through the whole sector of videos that I did and everything else that I tried to basically touch base on is, again, it's the identification of fake friends, right? Is you don't want to go through life where you've got friends that you think you have friends, or you're forced to spend time with them because you might not have other friends, right? It's important to understand what friends are and what they mean to you and what they truly mean to you. Do they build you up or do they break you down, right? My principle has always been that you surround yourself with people that's better than you, because if they're worse than you, they can literally just drag you down, right? And if you're a really strong person, then and you feel confident that you can work with these friends that are worse than you and build them up to be with you, right? Then go for it, because that's life changing for them. But there's so many situations where you can really figure out, like, do I have real friends, right? They don't just phone you when they need something, or they don't just talk to you once a year because they know that if they don't do it, then they're gonna reduce their social circle. Or there's so many aspects of what they are and what they do to you. But if you don't have the feeling that you have people to rely on and you have friends to rely on, that you can talk to them about literally anything, and it's important to just understand the fact that you need to be comfortable that if you turn your back, that they won't go and use you as the funny story at the next get together or whatever it might be. So that is again just one of the small subjects that I touched on. Something that I'd like to build on and go from there. We started off with random facts, right? I was personally, it's funny when I started this channel, the whole idea of random facts was very intriguing to me, because every time that I saw something, I know Google spit out something of it's mind-blowing trivia, and that's truly what it is, because there's so many things in life that you're so unaware of that it can literally change your life just knowing about it. And that's where the benefit of this comes in. I mean, there's one that I did about honey, the fact that it doesn't age, that they found some sort of honey in a Egyptian tomb that hasn't expired, and that is I don't know how many years ago, and wasn't expired. So all these small things, and even if you start really getting into it, right, it's truly mind-blowing trivia. But it's one thing to blow people's minds with what random facts are, right? For me, building this community of a support structure and everyone else's experience and everything else is priceless, because I mean, take this into consideration. You went to work early morning, right? You didn't wake up all that good. You didn't feel ready for the day. You're not 100% motivated, but you know that you need to commit, and there you go. You did it. You get to work, and just everything goes wrong, right? There's a report, or there's a meeting, or you forgot about something, and your boss is crappy, and he just had a crappy day, and he just offloads on you. You go through that whole day. Now you're on your way back home, sitting on the train, in the bus, or in the traffic because there was a pile up in the N95, or the train broke or science broke, and everything else. I mean, you just get those days, right, where you just go through that and everything else. And the problem with that is even people that are in a relationship, or if you're single, or you have friends or anything else, but you don't feel like it's appropriate to just bug them with that, or you spoke about all your problems about them yesterday, so you prefer not offloading this on them today because you just think they're going to think you're miserable and everything else. Is the worst approach that you can think about. And having that faceless offload of, listen, I had the worst day of my life, or today was the second worst day of my life, and these are the reasons, right? I think it's healthy to just share that with the world. I mean, you sit on the train and you stare at the person left to you, right? And they just staring in the abyss, not recognizing any portion of their life, all the surrounding about it, because they had the worst day in their life, right? In a perfect world where humanity actually gives a crap about everyone, right? What would stop you from just asking that person, how are you and how was your day, right? Just so that they can offload their problems. But they won't be comfortable enough to do that in any event. Or you sit in traffic and you stare to the right of you and the light goes green and this person just stares in front of them, completely lost at where they are in the moment, because they're just putting this horrible day on repeat in their head. And that's the worst that you can do, is putting that horrible day in repeat in your head. What you should do is you should communicate that and talk to people about that, because you get it out of your head. I mean, if it's simple science, right? You're going to continue poisoning yourself with the same thing on repeat. But if you talk about it, right, it goes out of your system and you get it out of you. And yeah, so sorry, I kept on rambling on about that one. But as I said, this channel started reading with random facts, and there's I want to start this off with a bunch of random facts as well. I mean, it's funny enough that honey never spoils, is that archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly edible. I don't think I will eat it, but I believe them. That's amazing. I mean, that's a fact that I never knew about. And they are stating that bananas are berries, but strawberries are not. Whew, that's life-changing for me as a banana. Botanically speaking, bananas meet a criteria for a berry, while strawberries do not. So that does not make any logical sense. But I do believe Google. I'm not sure if we should always believe Google, but I will do a little bit more research on that, because I am probably not shaped correctly to be a strawberry, and I'll probably need to get a new hat fitting, if I had to guess. Wow, that's a horrible joke. But in any event, octopuses have 3 hearts. 2 hearts pump blood to the gills, while the third pumps it to the rest of the body. Well, that's awesome. I mean, if you had so many arms, I would think that you need some serious hearts behind you. Humans share 60% of their DNA with banana. Wow, there's a lot of banana jokes popping up here. Humans share 60% of their DNA with bananas. While we are vastly different species, a surprising portion of our genetic makeup is shared with this fruit. Alright, I know what you guys are thinking, but there are the genetics and the sharing. It's not something that I would prefer going into, but that is very fascinating though. Alright, not planned. Yeah, that is shocking though, that there's so many banana theories. I think Google might be tracking my search criteria. Honestly, choosing this avatar is very ironic. I just saw a banana and I'm like, wow, that's cool. Talking banana. Might be a tree one day. Hopefully not a banana bread. As I said, that's pretty punishing. What One more fact. Sharks have been around longer than trees. Sharks have existed for about 400 million years, while trees have been around for about 350 million years. All right, that's not a fact that honestly blows my mind. It's enriching though. I did not know that. That puts me into the question of how old is the humankind. I can just figure that out. That will drive me nuts if I don't know that. How old is the humankind? All right, let's take a sip while this is loading. So modern humans, Homo sapiens, are believed to be around 300,000 years old. All right, so I'm not sure what old-fashioned humans would be, but hold on, there's something here. So nope, can't pronounce that word, but what they are saying is the story extends back much further, up to around 2 to 3 million years ago. Homo habilis. If I commented, or, well, not commented, if I pronounced that wrong, please feel free to tell me that in the comments, but one of the earliest members of the appeared about 2.8 million years ago in Africa. Interesting. All right, well, that is very interesting facts. I did not think that I would go into the whole facts, but as I said, I didn't expect an audience on my first round, because that is what YouTube told me. Should be less reliant on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, I think this was successful enough for me to go to bed tonight. Hope that whoever's watching this afterwards and the current viewer, appreciate it, enjoys the content and understands and appreciates what the idea is behind this. Make sure to mention, I'm reading out my own notes. Make sure to mention comment or let me know what you want to talk about. All right, well, either way, I did prep for this, and sort of. Not sure if you can recognize that, but in any event, my ending topic states clearly that make sure to mention, to comment, or let me know what you want to talk about. And that's very true. As I said, this is a communal thing, and I don't want to just do generic topics and discuss everything that the web says is currently viral or whatever it is. It'll be interesting to base discussions and theories and advice and experiences of what the normal and true person does. So, appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. You who are not currently watching. Either way. All right, I'm going to stop that there. Give me just 1 second because I don't know how to stop this feed. So I will figure out how to do that. I'm a banana. Yep, all right, that's enough.